Alright, hey guys, JJ Vlogs, you're welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. As you can see on the screen, we're going to be watching some scary animated stories, so let's go in. Let's start off with my boy Llama Earth's video 16 hours ago. Haven't seen it. By the way, I'm talking like this because I just woke up as well, bottom right, 9:26 a.m., you already know. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright boys.
It was a late, moonless, snowy night. I heard the chilling cry of a bobcat as I arrived home from my parents' house, where we had just had Thanksgiving dinner in northern Michigan. Exhausted, I had finally made it to my bed when my pregnant girlfriend asked for nacho cheese munchies. Reluctantly, I laced up my boots and went to my car. Due to the cold, it took me a while to start the car, which only made me more irritated. But eventually I got it started, and I arrived at the convenience store to
Why does the
retrieve
store
my
look so
girlfriend's
weird?
mandated snacks. As I left the store, walking back towards
What
my
the?
car, I saw a shadow of movement out of the corner of my eye. What looked like a person stood near the dumpster, just out of the light. I stepped towards the figure, and she looked at me with a giant sinister smile.
What
Her
in the?
face was so weathered, it looked like she had cracks all over her face. She was crouched down and appeared to be chewing on something. I looked to see what she was chewing on.
What the
To my
hell?
surprise, it was a severed arm. It looked old, as if it had been rotting for weeks.
Dude,
I saw her
run!
glance at something in her pocket. I could
Oh
see
no
the
no no no
outline of
no!
what looked like a pocket knife. As soon as I looked back up, she quickly charged me. I pushed her away and then ran
Damn!
back to the convenience store.
How did he
I
just?
burst through the door and frantically yelled towards the cashier to call the police as I turned to lock it. He asked me, "What's going on?" I scowled at him
I
and
don't know, an
said,
old lady.
"Please, just call the cops." I looked back outside and saw the woman had moved across the street and was
Oh
still
no!
scrutinizing me as she maintained her malevolent grin. "Look, there's a girl out there who's trying to kill me."
What the?
Looking over me, he replied, "I don't see anyone out there, sir." Those
Uh-oh.
words shook me, even to this day. When the police reached the gas station, they began looking around for the woman while one of the officers asked me what had happened, and I told him the details of the encounter. One of the officers came back and said he couldn't find anything. I then took them back to where I first noticed her. We spent a few minutes intently searching, but there was no proof she was ever even there.
What
The
the?
officer cocked his head and looked at me as if I was deranged and asked me in a judgmental tone, "Are you feeling okay?" I was about to defend myself, and then I started to think. I am tired, and I have had a couple of drinks, so I just told him, "Yes, sir. Sorry for bothering you. I hope you have a nice night." And then I drove home. I got home at around 4 o'clock in the morning. My girlfriend
What?
greeted me with an angered but concerning tone of voice. She asked me,
Where were you? Are you okay?
so I told her everything that happened. Of course, she didn't believe me.
Dude, there's a reason they're
I
showing
couldn't
us the
get to
rest of
sleep
this.
that night. I sat in my bed questioning my sanity, wondering if it was all even real. Am I crazy? Maybe I'm just tired. But no, that can't be it. I saw it. But if I saw it, why was there no proof? Where did the arm go? Where did she go? Before I knew it, it was 7 in the morning, and I had to go to work. I threw on my jacket as I was about to head to the construction site, and I put my hand in my pocket and noticed that there was a hole in it.
Oh
It
no.
wasn't there the other day. I thought, what if she caught my jacket as I ran? Which further proves my suspicion that she was real. I couldn't believe it. My mind completely went wild until my girlfriend kissed me goodbye. I told my friends at work what had happened, and they didn't believe me either. They made jokes about it the entire day, but I had my bowling tournament that day, so that gave me something to look
Bro,
forward to.
how many things does this
I
dude
got
have to do
home
in
and
one
hung
day?
my vest and jacket up and rapidly put on my bowling shoes and got my bowling ball. My girlfriend looked at me with a pleasant smile and said,
When will you be back?
Oh, he doesn't know.
"Probably around 11.
Don't be long.
I won't, don't
What
worry.
the?
At around 10:30, the tournament had finally finished, and we had won. I was so thrilled I had forgotten about the woman.
You
As
won't
we
be
were
forgetting.
leaving, I noticed something at the other end of the parking lot.
Stop.
It was
Stop.
that psychotic woman. We stared at each other for what felt like an eternity. She slowly started moving towards me while waving her knife in the air and making cuts. I quickly jumped into my car and turned it on. As I looked up, I saw she was standing in front
Bro,
of me,
just try to run her
staring
over.
at me. She slowly walked over to my window, and she said in a quiet, deep, and scratchy voice,
Little pig, let me in.
I was frozen in fear, but I snapped back to reality when she banged on the roof of my car, screaming. I quickly slammed my foot on the accelerator and didn't let off it until I couldn't see her anymore. When I arrived home, I
What
told my
the?
girlfriend what had happened. Like last time, she didn't believe me.
Bro, she's gonna follow
I
you
really
home.
thought I was insane, but I tried to forget about it and get some sleep. Later that night, I woke up and saw her in my room.
Yeah, exactly.
All she said was "let me in," over and over, as she got closer. She then started shouting,
Let me in, let me in, let me in. Let me in.
Come on, Paul. Stop being difficult.
Let me in.
I was
What?
wondering how in the world my girlfriend hadn't heard this going on. The woman was right next to me and held up a knife to me.
Dude, what?
That's when I fainted. I woke startled in my room, dripping with sweat. Then I remembered I don't have a girlfriend, nor
my
a
God.
house, or a family.
Huh?
Come on, Paul. Time for your morning meds. Let me in.
Dude, what in the absolute... What? That was the weirdest twist I've ever seen on the end of a freaking animation, boys. Alright guys, this is gonna be another one by Llama Arts. You know, it just keeps popping up and it's the only one that, you know, suits whatever, so I'm gonna do it.
This happened when I was 15 years old. My best friend Anthony wanted me to come over for the night since his parents would be gone all weekend. I rode my bike over and put it in his backyard before letting myself in through his back door. We played basically every video game he had, from FIFA all the way to Call of Duty, with popcorn and other junk food spilled out all over the floor. As the night progressed, we moved from video games to watching half a movie and getting bored, to doing prank calls at close to 10 o'clock. Anthony made a few calls to different pizza places. When it was my turn, I just dialed a few random numbers in hopes to get someone at their house. On, say, my fourth attempt, I finally reached somebody. A guy with a deep and rough voice picked up, answering with a yeah instead of a hello.
You messed up.
Anthony's laughing in the background made me stumble with my words mid-sentence, ultimately cracking up into laughter. I had never done a prank call, so I sucked at it. The guy on the other end was silent. I regained a straight face and tried to continue with the call. It went something like this. Sir, would it be alright if I borrowed one of the wheels from your car? What's your name, kid? My name is Bob. Really? You sure it's not Anthony?
And you messed
It
up.
hit me like a brick. I looked up at Anthony, whose face was noticeably full of fear. I hung up the phone, not wanting to be on the line with whoever that was for another second. Anthony, who the hell was that? I asked him. I don't know, he told me. Does your caller ID info display your name or something? No, it shows my dad's name.
Oh,
We
you
hopped on the computer and did
messed
some
up.
research, trying to figure out how it was possible to get someone's name through their phone number. It didn't make sense how he could get Anthony's name so quickly. He was way too young at the time to be on any of those personal information sharing websites. We ended up asking a question on Yahoo Answers, since no one had a similar experience. The question turned up no answers. I suggested he call his dad, but he said he wasn't supposed to have anybody over for the weekend, so he didn't want to call. We planned on sleeping in the living room, so we just resumed watching the movie that we hadn't finished from earlier. Right after the phone call had left my mind, me and Anthony looked at each other when we heard his front storm door opening, and then the doorknob to the front door began to turn.
Bro.
It only was able to turn about halfway before the lock restricted it. Anthony turned off the TV, and I went over to the window to see who it was. I spread the blinds open. There was a tall guy standing outside. He noticed the blinds moving and turned to look at me.
Oh my.
I practically threw the blinds back into place. Me and Anthony hid in the kitchen, listening for any more noises. We heard the sound of the gate to the backyard opening, as it was right outside the kitchen window.
Bro, you guys are dead.
God damn it, I said. I forgot to shut the back door. Anthony urged me to run and shut it. I made it to the hallway leading to his back door and froze. There was a silhouette standing outside the back door. I don't think he noticed me, but he was surely looking into the house. He opened the door and stepped inside.
He didn't notice you.
I tiptoed to the kitchen and motioned for Anthony to follow me upstairs. We made it to his room as quietly as possible, pulling the door shut to avoid making any noise. We crawled under his bed.
Oh my god, they're
He
so
had
dumb.
cloth covering the bottom of his bed, so you couldn't see anything under it unless you actually moved the cloth.
Which he will.
The doors downstairs all opened, each one getting closer to the stairs. Thumps finally began up the stairs, and he was right outside the door now. The door to the room opened.
Bro, he's gonna find you. Are you dumb?
I could hear Anthony's breathing. It was too loud. Footsteps moved over to the closet, and then the closet opened. I could hear the coat hangers being slid around as the fabric of the jackets and coats rubbed against each other. Footsteps moved over to the bed and stopped.
Uh-oh.
I felt like my heart was about to explode out of my chest. Anthony's breathing was too loud. I had to cover his mouth with my hand. Nothing but silence in the room now.
Nope, I'm not. No.
We laid still for so long, I almost thought he wasn't even in the room anymore.
No, I'm so...
I moved my hand away from Anthony's mouth and whispered in his ear, "You think we can make a run for
Oh,
it?"
you messed up. You messed up. You messed up. You messed up.
He was about to answer when the most disturbing, memory-haunting scream I'd ever heard filled my ears as Anthony was seemingly dragged out from under the bed.
Yep.
I crawled out and saw him struggling with the man. I desperately looked around for anything to use as a weapon. I settled with the screwdriver sitting on his nightstand.
Oh my...
I hurried over to the man and drove the screwdriver into his back. He let go of Anthony as he let out a scream of agony, giving us time to get the hell out of the house. Running onto the road would give away our position too easily. It would take too long to make it to his neighbor's house. We dove for the tree line in the woods and took cover behind a bush,
Yo, they're
watching
so
the
smart,
house.
totally. They're not, like, literally
The back
retarded.
door opened as the man stepped outside, looking around the backyard. He then looked out to the woods. I felt his eyes pass me as he scanned through the tree line. It seemed that it was too dark for him to see us. Then, he turned his head back in our direction.
No.
I ducked behind the bush. "Joe, he's coming." "What?" "Dude, get up, we gotta run." He was right. The man was approaching us fast. How could he have seen us? We ran through the woods with the leaves crunching under us, giving away our position. When Anthony tripped over something, I crouched down with him, hoping we had run far enough. Not even 20 seconds later, oncoming footsteps from the direction we were running from came fast. They slowed down only 2 trees away from us as we lay face down in the leaves. Moments later, the footsteps take off in another direction. We waited until we could no longer hear them and took off back in the direction of the house.
Oh my god.
While running, over the sound of leaves crushing and my heavy breathing, I could swear I heard leaves crushing from behind us. We made it back to his backyard, into his house, and this time remembering to shut the back door. We were now able to call the police. Anthony stayed on the line with them, while I patrolled the back windows, making sure nobody was out there. It
Bro.
was so dark though, I couldn't see anything. So I did something that seems stupid today. I turned on his backyard lights, and immediately in the distance, over by the woods, I saw him, standing in front of a big tree. He turned off back into the woods and disappeared out of sight. That was the last time me or Anthony ever saw him. I would be lying if I told you we heard the occasional knocks at our windows or something cliche. No, that was it.
Damn,
5 years have
bro.
passed and nothing has happened. Do I wonder if it was somehow linked to the prank call? Maybe. Does it make sense? Not really. But yeah, this was the story of how me and my still best friend Anthony almost died during a break-in.
Damn, bro. What the hell? I mean, these could all be fake, but... Well then, guys, that's gonna do it for the end of this video. I might post another one for today, I'm not sure, because I wasn't really feeling it, because I woke up kind of late compared to what I usually wake up to record a video for. I usually wake up around 6. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe if you're new. And yeah, see you all in the next video. Peace.